Life doesn't really begin until we've done the groundwork. This powerful statement by Carl Jung resonates in the minds of many as they face middle age. Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, offered a radical vision of what the passage of time entails. For him, the first 40 years of life are not the main story, but rather the preparation ground, the prelude to a more authentic and meaningful existence. This concept invites us to rethink how we conceive aging and what it really means to live. Jung did not see the arrival of 40 as the beginning of the end, but rather as the door to a new phase of life, a phase in which we can finally begin to live in accordance with our true nature. Since we were young, we've been taught that life is a race against time. Society requires us to seek success, status, and achievements at all costs. In the early years, we are immersed in the culture around us, absorbing values, expectations, and models of behavior. We are told that we need to achieve certain goals to be considered successful, and we are driven by the need to meet these standards. As we grow, we build our identity based on what others tell us, what we expect of ourselves, and what society expects of us. But what many do not tell us is that this stage of life, although important, is not the core of our existence. The first 40 years are, in many ways, the exploration phase, a stage of constant learning and construction of an external image that we want to project. During this phase, we face a series of fundamental questions that will guide our future lives. Who am I really? What do I want to do with my life? What does success mean to me? These questions are not easy to answer, and the answers we find often leave us with more doubts than certainties. In our youth, we launch into life driven by the desire to find purpose, but we often focus more on what others think of us than on what we really feel deep inside. We find ourselves trapped in the wheel of doing, achieving, proving, sometimes forgetting that true life is not found in what we do, but in who we are. And it is in this process of exploration, of trial and error, that little by little we are laying the foundations for what will be our authentic life. Think of the first 40 years as one long period of research. We are collecting data, living experiences that, although they may seem fleeting and even superficial, are shaping our inner being. At this stage, we are building the person, that image that we show to the world and that allows us to function within society. The person is useful. It is our tool to interact, to form relationships, to be successful in the material world. But Jung points out that the person is not the true being, but a mask, a role that we play. And this is where many of us make the mistake of confusing ourselves with that mask. We identify with what we do, with what we achieve, with what others tell us we are. But we forget that all of that is just an external construction. It is common to see people in their first years of life as being in a constant state of searching. We are taught to seek achievement, recognition, status, and we associate all of this with the idea that we are moving forward in life, that we are building something that defines us. But Jung invites us to look at this process with a different perspective. What if all this, everything we have been searching for, was nothing more than a preparation for something much deeper? Instead of seeing life before 40 as the number of achievements we've achieved, perhaps we should see it as the playing field, the place where we prepare for the real adventure. It's like we're putting together pieces of a puzzle without knowing how they'll fit together. We get caught up in the frenzy of daily life, searching for answers to questions we don't yet fully understand. It is at 40 when suddenly something changes. It is as if the veil is lifted and we begin to see more clearly. The answers that previously satisfied us are no longer sufficient. Material achievements no longer have the same weight. The search for recognition and success becomes less important, and we begin to question, is this all there is? Is it worth continuing to pursue what until now I thought was my purpose? This is the moment in which questions that previously arose in isolated moments begin to take on greater prominence. It's no longer just about how others see me, but about who I really am. about what I want to do with my life from now on. At 40, we begin to discover that life is not just about to do, but to be. It is at this stage that we realize that the process of personal exploration is far from over, but rather a new phase is about to begin. In some ways, we've been in a sort of incubation stage, gathering experiences, identifying our passions, and learning from the downfalls and successes. Now that information collected begins to take shape, and we realize that we are on the threshold of a profound change. It is time to start letting go of the masks, to let go of the expectations that others have placed on us, and to start living our lives according to what really matters. Jung saw this transition as an opportunity to embrace what he called individuation, the process of becoming one's full and authentic self. Throughout these early years, we have been building an image of the world, a model that tells us what life should be like. But at 40, we are ready for something more, living life for ourselves, not according to the script that others have given us. Jung invites us to recognize that everything we have experienced until now has been a preparation for this moment, a moment in which we can truly begin to live. The answers we seek are not outside of ourselves, in our achievements, or in what others think of us. They are within us, waiting to be heard. The interesting thing about all of this is that there is no specific moment when we realize that we have crossed this threshold. It is a gradual process, a slow but sure awakening. It can start with a small concern, a silent question that grows stronger over time. It can begin with the feeling that something is missing, that there is a part of ourselves that we have not yet discovered. This awakening is not always comfortable and is often accompanied by uncertainty, fear, and the feeling that we are losing control. But as we move forward, we realize that this is the true beginning of life, the beginning of a much richer and deeper adventure. The transition to the second half of life is not an isolated event, but rather a continuous process of discovery. It is in this process that life begins to take on a deeper meaning. And what is even more fascinating is that this awakening prepares us for the revelations to come, for the challenges and opportunities that await us in midlife. What does the future hold for us? The answer is closer than we think. In the second half of life, a range of challenges and opportunities open up that, although complex, offer us the possibility of transformation and growth. As we move through middle age, the foundations on which we have built our lives up to that point begin to be questioned. What once seemed solid and safe begins to crumble, or at least be perceived from a new perspective. The accomplishments, relationships, and goals that defined our youth and early adulthood can begin to feel empty or insufficient. We realize that, although we have lived searching for success, this success has not always brought us closer to the deep satisfaction that we seek within ourselves. Challenges in the second half of life are not necessarily external, although some circumstances, such as retirement, loss of loved ones, or changes in health, can cause uncertainty or fear. The most important thing, however, is the internal challenge, the confrontation with ourselves. The question is not whether we have achieved everything we wanted to achieve, but whether we have lived according to our true values. This is one of the reasons why many, upon reaching 40, feel an identity crisis. Who am I now? Is what I have achieved up to this point what I really wanted, or was I just following a path set by others? It is in the midst of this questioning where opportunities present themselves. The first step is the awareness that this process of re-evaluation can be a door to something bigger, an opportunity to redefine what we really want to do with the rest of our lives. At first, it may seem like all we have are challenges, but in reality, each of those challenges is an invitation to grow, to make peace with the past, and to look toward the future with a new perspective. This stage does not have to be a time of decline or exhaustion, but rather a time of reinvention. Every decision we make, every relationship we cultivate, every new passion we discover can become a way to transform our lives and take advantage of the lessons of years past. The key here is the ability to adapt. Instead of seeing middle age as a stage of decline, we must learn to see it as a phase of maturity, like a tree that, with the power, as the years go by, it not only strengthens but also adapts to the changing seasons. We too must learn to be flexible and resilient. Middle age offers us a deeper and broader vision of life. The pressures we experience in youth, the desire to meet external expectations and achieve superficial goals, tend to diminish. Instead, more fundamental questions arise. What do I really want? How do I want to live my remaining years? In many cases, this is the time to reorient our lives towards what is truly important to us, and not to others. Of course, the challenges are real, and in some cases they can be overwhelming. The loss of youthful vitality, possible illnesses, or the death of loved ones are realities that confront us in middle age. However, these challenges also teach us something invaluable: the importance of acceptance and the ability to embrace the uncertain. The wisdom that comes with age allows us to see that life is ephemeral and that every moment counts. What was once a source of anxiety, fear of death, worrying about what others think, or fear of failure, becomes over time an opportunity to enjoy the present and focus on what really matters. On a personal level, midlife can also be a time of deep connection. The relationships we have built over the years can become more meaningful as we no longer worry as much about the superficiality of interactions or what will they say. Instead of seeking external approval or recognition, we seek authenticity. We want to surround ourselves with people who truly share our values, who understand us in our entirety, without masks or social expectations. This is the time to deepen family relationships, strengthen bonds of friendship, and create new connections that enrich our lives. The opportunities that arise in the second half of life are also related to the ability to embrace new experiences. Although some may fear aging and the loss of their physical or mental abilities, it is important to remember that the human mind has an extraordinary capacity to learn and adapt throughout life. Many discover hidden passions and talents in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. Learning a new language, starting an artistic project, playing sports that we had never tried before, traveling to places we had always dreamed of visiting, are just some examples of how we can take advantage of this stage to continue developing and exploring the world from a fresh perspective. It is possible that, as we age, our bodies no longer respond as before, but this does not mean that we are condemned to inaction. Rather, it is about learning to take care of ourselves more consciously. The health habits we form in youth, while valuable, often do not take into account the need to adapt to our new reality. In the second half of life, we have the opportunity to focus on comprehensive well-being, physical, emotional, and mental. Taking care of our health doesn't just mean going to the doctor or exercising, but also learning to manage stress, cultivate inner peace, and generally make decisions that help us feel more balanced and complete. Another of the great challenges that can arise in middle age is the feeling that we are losing control over our future. Society and family expectations may pressure us to follow a certain path, but it is essential to recognize that the process of self-definition continues. We are no longer destined to follow a pre-established script, but can write our own story, redefining our identity and our goals. The key is to give ourselves permission to let go of old narratives that no longer serve us, and to begin living with greater awareness of what we truly desire. This period of transformation, although challenging, is also a time full of potential. The opportunities that arise in midlife are available to those who are willing to face their fears and leave external expectations behind. What often seems like a moment of crisis is actually an awakening to a new stage of life, one in which we can finally live for ourselves. Middle age, far from being the end, is the seed of what is to come. And, as in any good growth process, the path to that new life can be full of surprises and revealing moments. How will we choose to meet the challenges and seize the opportunities that await us? The answer is, as always, in our hands. In the second half of life, when the passing of the years is already, it is not measured only in terms of material achievements or professional advancement, a deeper need arises to find lasting meaning and purpose. Life stops being a set of goals to achieve and becomes a journey towards understanding what really matters. This process of personal discovery is not immediate. It is not something that is achieved simply by making quick decisions or reacting to circumstances. Finding true purpose involves deep and often painful introspection, in which we are invited to question the beliefs and expectations that have accompanied us throughout our lives. When we are young, purpose may seem like something clear and measured, related to career, social success, or compliance with established norms. But as we age, many of those definitions of success begin to lose their relevance. External goals, such as recognition or wealth, no longer offer the satisfaction they once promised us. In its place, a subtler but more powerful concern emerges. What do I really want to achieve in life? What makes me feel fulfilled, happy, and at peace with myself? This search for meaning can be one of the most transformative experiences of midlife, as it invites us to review our priorities and embrace the idea that life is not measured only by what we achieve, but by the impact we leave and by the meaning that we find in what we do. Finding purpose doesn't necessarily mean making big changes or making drastic decisions. In some cases, it may be a matter of re-evaluating the direction we have followed so far and deciding whether we want to continue down that path or whether we would prefer to redirect our energies towards something more aligned with our passions and values. Some people discover that their true purpose is related to helping others, getting involved in social causes, or pursuing creative projects. Others may find satisfaction in sharing their knowledge and experiences with younger generations, or in embarking on a new adventure that allows them to explore facets of themselves that had been forgotten. The important thing is that purpose becomes an internal engine that guides decisions and leads us to live more authentically. One of the keys to finding this purpose is connection with yourself. As we move through life, external distractions, social expectations, professional pressures, family mandates begin to fade, making room for a deeper look within. Often, purpose is not in external achievements, but in connecting with our deepest passions, those that define us as individuals. This process of self-discovery may not be easy, as it may involve confronting aspects of ourselves that we have ignored or repressed over the years. However, it is precisely in that confrontation where the opportunity to grow lies. In this journey, fear plays an important role. The fear of not finding purpose, of not being enough, or of facing the loneliness that sometimes accompanies middle age can hold many back. However, it is crucial to understand that these fears are not insurmountable obstacles, but rather signs that we are about to open a new door. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, we must learn to see it as an ally. Every time we face our fears, we take one step closer to our purpose. The process of finding meaning is also closely linked to the legacy we want to leave. As we reflect on our lives, we tend to ask ourselves, what will be left of me when I am gone? The desire to leave something valuable behind, something that will have a lasting impact on others, becomes a powerful motivation. This legacy doesn't have to be something big or grand. It's not about building a fortune or being internationally recognized. Often, the most significant legacy is the one we leave with the people close to us, the one we inspire in future generations, or the mark we leave in our community. It may be the life example we provide, the love we share, the teachings we offer, or the ways we help others discover their own purpose. Once we find a purpose that resonates with our deepest self, life begins to feel more full and meaningful. We no longer live to meet other people's expectations or to pursue goals that do not fulfill us. Living with purpose gives us clear direction and constant motivation. Each day stops being a mere repetition of routines and becomes an opportunity to do something valuable, no matter how small. It is this sense of purpose that allows us to face challenges with a new perspective. 2. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable obstacles, we perceive them as opportunities to grow and learn. In many cases, people who have found a deep purpose experience a sense of inner peace that they did not know before. They stop feeling trapped by external demands and instead feel free to live according to their own principles. They no longer feel pressured by competition or comparison, but live in harmony with what really matters. This process of finding meaning can also have a positive effect on our mental and emotional health. Studies have shown that people who live with a clear purpose tend to have healthier lives, greater longevity, and a greater sense of well-being. Purpose gives us a reason to get up every morning, a motivation that drives us to keep going, even when difficulties seem insurmountable. In short, finding purpose in the second half of life is not a quick or easy process, but it is one of the most enriching paths we can take. It invites us to connect with the deepest part of our being, to question established norms, and to live a more authentic life. The search for meaning is not only a personal exercise, but also an opportunity to contribute to the world in a more meaningful way. When we discover what really matters to us, we can live with a clarity and peace we have not experienced before. And most importantly, it allows us to see that it is never too late to start building a full and meaningful life. The deeper we go into this search, the more we realize that purpose is not something that is found only once, but rather a continuous process, an evolution that accompanies us until the end of our days. As we enter the second half of life, relationships become one of the fundamental pillars that shape our well-being. The connections we cultivate, both with family, friends, and new people who enter our lives, play a crucial role in how we experience this new chapter. The importance of human bonds is not only reflected in moments of shared joy, but also in the ability to support each other through difficult times, which inevitably come as we age. In this phase, relationships are not simply an extension of what we have experienced, but a space to build something deeper, more authentic. The time we spend on relationships, especially close ones, becomes more meaningful as we advance in years. In youth, we often focus on building an external identity, on achieving professional or personal goals that, while valuable, do not always promote intimacy or deep emotional growth. In middle age, the years teach us that what really matters are genuine bonds, those that are not based on the superficial, but on the ability to truly be ourselves. The relationships we nurture during this period become a form of emotional support, where we can be vulnerable, share our concerns, and receive love without having to meet other people's expectations. Changing your perspective on relationships can be one of the most liberating aspects of this stage of life. People who for years have felt trapped in the social demands of maintaining a wide and varied network of contacts discover that they actually feel more complete when they invest their time and energy in a few quality relationships. Depth becomes more important than quantity. In this sense, it is common for some friendships to fade or for family connections to be redefined, while new, more authentic and enriching relationships flourish. It's no longer about pleasing or meeting expectations, but about finding people with whom we really share values, interests, and a vision of life. Cultivating these meaningful relationships also involves an act of self-care and self-acceptance. The more we know ourselves, the easier it is to establish healthy and balanced relationships. This process of self-knowledge allows us to be more selective in the people we let into our lives, and wiser when it comes to setting limits on those relationships that no longer provide us with what we need. Many times, The healthiest relationships are those that are not based on what we expect from others, but on what we share with them from a place of genuineness and mutual respect. In this phase, we can be more compassionate with others and with ourselves, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable without fear of being rejected, since we understand that the true value of a relationship lies not in perfection, but in acceptance, unconditional. Additionally, family relationships take on a new meaning. As children grow, sometimes the roles we previously played as parents, providers, or protectors evolve. Children become adults, and the pattern of interactions changes. This readjustment can be challenging for many, especially those who define their identity based on their role as caregivers. However, this transformation also opens the door to a new form of relationship based more on friendship and mutual respect than on traditional hierarchy. Dialogue and understanding of generational differences become a fundamental tool to strengthen these ties. On the other hand, the relationship with your partner can be another crucial area of reconfiguration. As time goes by, we may be faced with the need to review our relationship and, in some cases, renew it. Relationships that survive the test of time must adapt, grow, and learn to communicate in a deeper and more meaningful way. The second half of life can be an opportunity to rediscover the person with whom we share our lives, to learn to see ourselves again with fresh eyes, free of the external pressures that often define relationships in youth. This process can include difficult conversations, but also the possibility of experiencing greater intimacy, understanding, and complicity. In many cases, marriages that survive middle age become stronger because they are based more on genuine love and mutual respect than on the need to meet social or family expectations. Relationships with friends also go through a transformation. At this stage of life, we are less willing to maintain superficial relationships. Friendship is redefined, and quality becomes the main selection criterion. Lifelong friends can be an invaluable source of emotional support, especially when we share a common history and similar values. However, it is also likely that in this phase we will discover that newer friendships forged through shared experiences can be even more enriching. Midlife, being a period of reflection and change, allows us to connect with people who are going through similar processes, often creating a deeper and more meaningful connection. These friends not only understand our personal journey, but often become our closest allies in the search for purpose and meaning. Social support at this stage of life not only comes from our closest relationships, but also from our community. Participating in community activities, whether through volunteering, collaborative projects, or common interests, allows us to feel part of something bigger. Connecting with others on this broader level helps us overcome the feelings of loneliness that sometimes accompany aging. Feeling like we are contributing to the well-being of our community not only gives us purpose, but also keeps us mentally active, emotionally balanced, and socially engaged. In short, relationships in the second half of life are essential to our well-being. It is no longer about accumulating connections, but about delving into those that really matter to us. These relationships, nurtured by self-knowledge, vulnerability, and authenticity, provide us with the emotional support necessary to face the challenges of midlife and move forward with confidence on the path to a greater purpose. As time goes by, we realize that human connections are not only a source of happiness, but also one of the keys to living a meaningful and fulfilling life. The quality of our relationships determines, to a large extent, the quality of our life. And in this sense, the second half of life offers us a unique opportunity to reinvent ourselves, to discover new ways of loving, supporting, and being supported, and to live in harmony with ourselves and with others. In the second half of life, physical and mental health become two of the most crucial aspects of our existence, especially when we understand that they are not only the basis of our longevity, but also the keys to a full, active, and healthy life. Significant. As we age, our priorities change, and what was once a focus on productivity and physical performance now transforms into a quest to maintain overall well-being. Health becomes more than the absence of disease. It is the ability to fully enjoy our relationships, our interests, and our purpose. One of the first lessons we learn as we advance in years is that taking care of the body becomes essential not only to prevent disease, but also to ensure that we can continue to enjoy life with the same energy and vitality as when we were younger. As the years go by, stamina decreases, and the body, which was once able to perform almost any activity without much effort, begins to show signs of wear and tear. Joints that creak, muscles that feel stiffer, less energy for everyday tasks. These are just a few of the physical reminders that the body is aging. However, far from being a statement of limitation, this is a call to action. Staying physically active in the second half of life not only helps avoid chronic diseases, but is also key to preserving our independence. Research has shown that people who exercise regularly have a better quality of life, experience less pain, and, in many cases, maintain their mobility and muscle strength well into their 60s. Exercise doesn't have to be intense or strenuous. The important thing is to incorporate physical activity into our daily routine, whether through walking, yoga, swimming, or even low-impact activities like Tai Chi. These practices are not only beneficial for the body, but also for the mind, since physical exercise produces endorphins, which are hormones responsible for improving mood and reducing stress. In this process, diet plays a fundamental role. Proper nutrition is not just a matter of losing weight or maintaining a slim figure, but rather making sure the body receives all the nutrients it needs to function optimally. A balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats, not only helps keep the cardiovascular system in good condition, but also improves brain function, strengthens the immune system, and reduces the risk of degenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. As we age, our metabolism changes, and what used to be a carefree diet may now require more conscious attention. However, a proper diet doesn't have to be restrictive or boring. In fact, by focusing on fresh and natural foods, we can rediscover flavors and textures that brighten our lives. Physical care, however, is not limited to exercise and diet. It also extends to regular medical care. During middle age, health checkups become an essential routine because as the body ages, it becomes more susceptible to various conditions. Early detection of diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, or even cancer can make the difference between successful treatment and serious complications. In this sense, regular visits to the doctor and monitoring our health give us the power to prevent, or at least manage, many health problems before they become an insurmountable obstacle. Maintaining a close relationship with health professionals also allows us to be better informed about the changes our body is experiencing and how to best adapt. On a mental level, the second half of life also presents a series of challenges and opportunities. Often the mindset shifts from the rush to achieve everything you can in life to a deeper desire to find inner peace and clarity. This involves taking care of our mental health in a similar way to how we take care of our physical health. Mental health in midlife is closely linked to how we cope with stress and negative emotions. Learning to manage stress is crucial since the body no longer responds in the same way to daily stresses. Relaxation techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or mindfulness practice can be essential to maintaining a clear and balanced mind. These tools not only reduce anxiety, but also help improve our ability to make calm decisions, managing life's difficulties with greater perspective. As life progresses, the wisdom gained over the years allows us to face emotional and psychological challenges with deeper resilience. Middle age is a favorable time to reflect on one's beliefs, values, and expectations. This process of reflection can generate moments of anxiety, as we sometimes face the reality that some dreams did not come true, or that life did not follow the path we imagined. However, it is also an opportunity to redefine what personal success means. Instead of viewing mental health as something that only needs to be managed in times of crisis, we understand that emotional well-being is an ongoing commitment. It is at this stage when many decide to seek professional help to deal with unresolved issues from the past, or simply to learn to better manage their emotions. The connection between physical and mental health is stronger than is often recognized. Taking care of one directly affects the other, and vice versa. When we feel good physically, our self-esteem rises, which in turn improves our mental health. Likewise, a healthy mind allows us to have the necessary motivation to keep our bodies active and healthy. This cycle of comprehensive well-being is the key to facing the second half of life with vitality and renewed energy. Aging, far from being a passive process, is an invitation to take control of our health. We can, if we wish, age with vitality and fulfillment, taking advantage of the life lessons acquired and transforming them into a driving force to stay active, connected, and healthy. Physical and mental self-care is not only an obligation, but an opportunity to live in the best way possible, to take advantage of every day and every moment. Life doesn't stop in the second half. Rather, it offers a new perspective on what it means to be truly alive. As we continue our journey, we discover that taking care of our health is not just a necessity, but a way to honor our own existence, an act of self-love that ultimately prepares us to live the life we really want. The second half of life offers a unique space for exploration, renewal, and discovery. As time goes by, many people feel driven to explore new interests and hobbies that, over the years, they may have been put aside or never had the opportunity to explore. As professional life and family responsibilities ease, there is a new freedom to immerse yourself in activities that nourish the soul and spark creativity. In this process, we discovered that it is not just about passing time, but about finding what we are truly passionate about, and that fills us with satisfaction. Interests and hobbies in the second half of life are not just a form of leisure, but a vital tool for personal growth, social connection, and renewal of vital energy. First of all, exploring new interests allows us to get out of the routine. For decades, we have followed a path determined by the demands of work, family, and society. However, once these pressures ease, we find fertile ground for rediscovering what truly excites us. This process can be as simple as resuming a forgotten activity, such as painting, writing, or learning to play an instrument. Or it can be a completely new adventure, such as playing adventure sports or learning a new language. Often, these new interests allow us to experience life from a fresh perspective, bringing with them a sense of renewed youth, not only physically, but mentally as well. Creative activity, for example, is especially powerful in this sense. Painting, writing, or even gardening allows us to express thoughts and emotions in ways we often hadn't considered before. This is a process of self-exploration that can be deeply liberating and enriching. The benefits of exploring new hobbies are not only limited to personal well-being, they also have a positive impact on our social lives. As people get older and their children become adults, or professional responsibilities decrease, social networks tend to shrink. That's why embarking on new activities can be a great way to make new connections. Joining classes, groups, or associations related to our interests introduces us to new communities of people with whom we share similar passions. This can be a source of camaraderie and emotional support, especially important when social isolation is a growing concern in adulthood. Having a group of people with whom to share our experiences, interests, and challenges contributes to our emotional health, generating a sense of belonging and connection. Discovering new interests and hobbies also allows us to challenge our own beliefs and expectations. In our youth, we may have been so focused on achieving professional or family goals that we didn't stop to think about what we would really like to do in terms of personal growth. The second half of life gives us the opportunity to rethink those priorities and free ourselves from the pressure of meeting imposed standards. If, for example, we always wanted to write but never did because we didn't have time or it wasn't practical, we can now confront those self-imposed barriers and discover that we truly have the ability to write, create, and express ourselves in ways we never did before. They seemed distant or impossible to us. On the other hand, interests and hobbies can also provide a sense of achievement and satisfaction that is not linked to external results, as is the case in many areas of professional life. In the early years of our lives, we are often focused on tangible achievements, receiving a promotion, buying a house, achieving a certain level of income. However, in the second half of life, success is no longer measured in the same way. The simple act of learning something new or enjoying an activity without the pressure of being the best or achieving recognition can be enormously rewarding. This type of internal satisfaction is a refreshing contrast to the constant search for external validation that often defines youth. In this way, hobbies become a form of self-affirmation, a reminder that our worth does not depend on what others think, but on the peace and contentment we can find within ourselves. As we discover new interests, we also learn to accept impermanence and change. The second half of life is not a static phase, but a dynamic stage that invites adaptation. Our interests and hobbies can evolve over time, and that fluidity allows us to be more connected to what really matters in the moment. There is no need to cling to old interests out of loyalty or obligation. We can free ourselves from expectations and be more authentic with ourselves. For example, we may have been passionate about competitive sports in our youth, but over the years, this interest may transform into a preference for leisurely hiking or yoga, which offer a deeper connection with the body and the mind. This ability to adapt and change is essential to keeping us vibrant and open to new experiences. Additionally, learning new skills in the second half of life has proven cognitive benefits. The brain, like any muscle, improves with exercise. Studies have shown that constant learning, such as learning to paint, play music, or even solve complex puzzles, improves brain function, increases neuroplasticity, and protects against cognitive decline. Activities that challenge our minds in new and different ways have the power to keep us alert and active, helping to keep the mind sharp. Instead of allowing routine and monotony to envelop us, constant learning gives us the opportunity to keep our curiosity and desire to explore intact. New interests can also act as a form of expression of our evolving identity. As we navigate the second half of life, priorities and values change, and these new hobbies often reflect that change. What we choose to do in our free time may be a manifestation of our new worldview, our personal aspirations, or what we no longer want in our lives. If in the past the professional career dominated our decisions, now perhaps hobbies such as gardening, writing, or volunteering become the center of our daily lives. These interests allow us to create a richer, more complex life, a life that reflects not only who we are, but who we are choosing to be. Finally, hobbies and new activities also teach us to enjoy the process more than the result. As youth, we are often so focused on achieving tangible results, like getting a perfect grade or winning a competition, that we forget what really matters, the experience itself. The second half of life invites us to slow down, enjoy the little things, and be aware of the pleasure that comes from simply doing something for the pure joy of doing it. Satisfaction comes not from recognition or external rewards, but from the sense of personal connection and achievement experienced in the present moment. So, as we continue to explore new interests, we discover that it's not just about finding something to fill the time, but a way to reconnect with what truly makes us feel alive. The journey towards self-discovery and personal growth becomes a constant adventure, one in which each new activity, each new skill opens doors to a richer, fuller, and more meaningful life. And in the end, this process of exploration not only transforms the way we live, but also the way we see ourselves and the world around us. As we move towards the second goal of life, many people begin to feel a strong need to give something back to the community and the world around us. This desire to contribute to something better is a common characteristic of this phase, when searching for people's events begins to be replaced by the desire to positively impact the lives of other people. Previous decades have often been marked by personal achievements and individual ambitions, but as we reach maturity, a new perspective emerges. Achievement is no longer just about accumulating benefits or status, but about cultivating a legacy, making a difference. The act of contributing to a community becomes then a form of renewal, of experiencing a purpose that transcends the limits of individual life. The importance of contributing to the community in the second goal of life cannot be underestimated. When we are younger, the emphasis is on achieving goals and meeting the expectations of an imposed society. Therefore, as time goes on, we realize that true satisfaction does not come from external rewards, but from the feeling of being connected to something greater than ourselves. Every day, many people are attracted to the idea of contributing to causes that are meaningful to them, whether through volunteering, mentoring, or social projects. By doing this, they not only help to improve the lives of other people, but also discover a new sense of purpose. Esse ato de giving something em troca, seja em tempo, abilities or resources, reconnects us as the best of our humanity. Participating in community activities can profoundly transform our perception of life and society. Many times, it is in moments of altruism that we experience a unique sense of belonging. Helping others creates bonds that go beyond superficial relationships, forging deeper and more authentic connections. For example, when getting involved in causes such as childcare, youth education, or environmental preservation, people find a new field of activity that offers emotional and intellectual gratification. This type of involvement is not simply a matter of helping. It's about feeling that our actions are creating a positive impact, that we are in some way shaping the future in a meaningful way. Not wanting to contribute to the community is just a response to development or search for a purpose. It's also an opportunity to reflect on our own life experiences and learn to share the skills we acquire over 2 years. When we look back, we can realize that much of who we are is a result of the influences of other people, such as mentors, friends, or even anonymous figures who touch our lives in subtle, deeper ways. Now, in the second goal of life, we have the opportunity to give back, not only with money or resources, but also with our experience, knowledge, and time. Many times, people find great satisfaction in being mentors or advisors, transmitting the knowledge acquired over 2 years to those who are just beginning their journeys. This transfer of knowledge and experience is fundamental for the construction of a more supportive and resilient society. Intergenerational support, where we orient the most young people, strengthens the social ties and promotes a continuity of values, ideas, and skills that contribute to the well-being of the collective. Many volunteering or mentoring programs arise from the need for connection and mutual learning, allowing both the youngest and oldest to benefit from the exchange of ideas and experiences. The impact of this type of contribution varies greatly from the direct help we offer. It also creates a support network that traverses generations, transforming society from the inside out. Also, there is a sense of accomplishment that comes from knowing that our years are building a legacy. As we contribute to the community, we often realize that we are leaving a mark on the world, something that will last long after we leave. This legacy does not need to be grand or widely reconfirmed. It can be something simple, like helping educate children, being part of an initiative that improves the life of a local community, or planting a tree. It is important to know that our actions have a positive impact and that, in some way, our presence in the world makes a difference. This notion of leaving something behind is one of the main sources of satisfaction in the second goal of life, because it gives us a sense of continuity, that we are participating in something greater than ourselves. The desire to make a difference in the world can also be manifested through a search for social justice, for equality, and for human rights. As people grow older, they become more aware of the social and political issues that affect their communities, and many times this translates into renewed activism. There is something deeply motivating in fighting for causes that promote collective and equitable development, such as defending marginalized groups, fighting for more just public policies, or promoting actions that help mitigate structural inequalities. In this phase of life, the questions of social justice come to be seen not only as political or social responsibilities, but as personal missions. The energy and landscape that were previously directed towards building a career or achieving individual objectives now find a new focus: the beauty of society as a whole. The impact that we can contribute to the community is immense, and perhaps most of all is the internal transformation that occurs within ourselves. When we dedicate ourselves to greater causes, we not only help others, but we also feel more complete and fulfilled. Helping to build a stronger and fair community is a way to reaffirm our connection with the world, to affirm our value and purpose. Looking back, we can feel that our efforts are meaningful and that our life has a greater purpose, a purpose that goes beyond our own desires and aspirations. In the final analysis, contributing to the community in the second goal of life allows us not only to create a lasting impact, but also to reconnect with our own humanity, our gear with empathy and generosity. Therefore, we can experience a sense of unity and belonging that strengthens us and inspires us to continue our journey. And as we seek to do better, we discover that the greatest benefit of that contribution is what it offers us internally, in the peace of knowing that we are living a life full of purpose and meaning, a life that leaves a legacy of love, companionship, and solidarity. Aging with grace and dignity is a topic that has captured the attention of philosophers, writers, and psychologists throughout history. In the second half of life, many people find themselves reflecting on what it really means to grow old in a way that is not just a matter of adding years, but of living them fully with serenity and acceptance. This concept of aging gracefully is not simply a physical challenge, but also an emotional and spiritual one. It involves a deep connection with ourselves, an ability to embrace the passage of time without fear, recognizing that each stage has its own value and beauty. As we reach adulthood, aging can be perceived as an opportunity to let go of the old worries and pressures that defined our youth. For many years, our society has imposed an ideal of youth as the golden period, a time associated with beauty, energy, and success. However, as they reach the second half of life, many people realize that what really matters is not how many years have passed, but how they have lived them. The true beauty of life is not found in the body or in the external appearance, but in the wisdom acquired, in the tranquility of having traveled a path full of experiences, and in the ability to find peace in oneself. One of the most powerful aspects of aging gracefully is the ability to let go of attachment to the superficial. As you progress in life, priorities tend to change. It is no longer about proving anything to others, competing or meeting other people's expectations. Instead of clinging to youth or external image, the focus shifts to what is internal: acceptance of the scars that life has left us, the achievements, failures, and learnings. This transition can be liberating, as it allows people to live authentically, without the pressures of meeting an ideal of perfection that youth imposes. In this process, dignity plays a crucial role. It is not just about maintaining a neat image or correct behavior, but about living with integrity. Dignity in old age is reflected in the way we treat others, in how we relate to younger people, and in our attitude towards life's challenges. People who age with dignity have a deep understanding of themselves and do not seek external validation, but are at peace with who they have been and what they can still become. Dignity is also linked to the acceptance of the physical limitations that come with age, but without this meaning giving up vitality or independence. It is rather an act of respect for one's own body, taking care of it and adapting to changes naturally. A clear example of this concept is found in people who, upon reaching old age, develop deep gratitude for the little things in life. Instead of lamenting what they've lost, they celebrate what they've gained, lasting relationships, knowledge gained, and the opportunity to enjoy a slower pace of life. This gratitude not only contributes to greater personal satisfaction, but also fosters an optimistic outlook in the face of challenges that may arise. People who age gracefully tend to see each stage of life as a gift, albeit sometimes wrapped in challenges. Aging with dignity is also deeply related to the ability to maintain a positive attitude towards the future. Although society often perceives old age as the end of possibilities, those who age gracefully do not see it as closure, but as a continuation. Retirement, for example, is not about a retreat from life, but rather an opportunity to reinvent oneself, to explore new passions, or to dedicate time to projects that had previously been postponed. The ability to adapt and find new ways to enjoy life is one of the greatest signs of dignity in old age. The second half of life can also be a time for forgiveness, both towards others and towards oneself. As people reflect on their lives, unfinished business that they left unresolved in their youth can rise to the surface. Lost opportunities, accumulated resentments, or wrong decisions can begin to weigh on the heart. However, aging gracefully involves making peace with the past. Forgiveness is not just a release for others, but also for oneself, a way to release the emotional burdens that prevent progress. This process of forgiveness is one of the keys to achieving a dignified old age, since it allows people to close cycles and live in peace with their personal history. On the other hand, aging gracefully also has an important social component. Seniors often have a deep desire to remain connected to the community, and this connection is essential to maintaining an active and meaningful life. Loneliness is an important risk in old age, so aging with dignity not only refers to self-care, but also how to continue being part of a social fabric that nourishes and supports us. Engaging in social activities, spending time with loved ones, and continuing to learn are effective ways to ensure that life remains rich, even when circumstances change. Throughout this process, elders can become sources of inspiration for younger generations. The wisdom of experience, the patience cultivated through years of experiences, and serenity in the face of life's challenges are qualities that not only enrich those close to them, but also teach that life can be lived with dignity in each of its aspects. Chapters. Older people, by their example, show us that aging is not a decline, but a natural part of human existence that, when accepted and celebrated, can be the most enriching stage of all. In the end, aging with grace and dignity is an ongoing process of acceptance, adaptation, and growth. It is not a destination, but a journey. It is a path that invites us to live each day with greater depth and awareness, learning to let go of what no longer serves and embracing what is to come. The beauty of this journey lies not only in what we have experienced, but in how we choose to live what we have left, with the full conviction that each day has a purpose and each experience a unique value. Thus, as we age gracefully, we truly begin to understand that life is not measured by the years we live, but by the way we choose to live them.